Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow, Extreme Health Club, and Lockshield Partners Accounting Services.
Trevent Hayes, KY Sports TV, James Brown, 104 The Score. We're here on the Glasgow Electric Plant Board's Channel 6, the local channel.
What's the name of the show?
Tell me about it.
That's right.
Tell me about it.
What are you telling me about? Look, we got a lot of football to talk about. I was going to point this out right off.
Point it out.
I didn't go and just verify this, but I can't remember a Friday/Saturday that went so well for the three schools we predominantly cover, that being Caverna, Barron County, and Glasgow. All three won, not just one, all three won handily, and I thought there was some outstanding performances early in the season. Caverna's 1-1, Glasgow and Barron are 2-0. You guys could have been 2-0.
Could have been.
But, it
happens.
Well, I kind of think, and I think I mentioned this on here last week, you guys ended up not having that scrimmage against Western.
Neither scrimmage. We didn't have any scrimmage, and it really hurt us. And so the way I tried to play it was I told the kids that first game was our scrimmage, since we didn't have a scrimmage.
Well, and it kind of was, because a lot of the things that you would have in that first week of practice leading up to the first game, if you'd had that scrimmage, it'd have been things you guys would have known to talk about, to prepare for, some details that you kind of had to learn basically in the first quarter of the game against Muhlenberg County.
Right.
And so, so you guys could be 2-0 as well.
We could be.
But it's a great start to the season for the three teams.
I'm just glad Caverna could do their part to help with that local record.
Well, you guys won the game 58-18, braved the heat and humidity and everything else on Saturday.
It was hot.
Yeah. So, for me, for the person covering all this a lot of times, that's what I like to see. Is I just like to see the teams do well. I like to see the players do well. And so,
that's I was asked to speak at Rotary Monday, and that's one of the things that I talked about was, regardless if we were to play Glasgow, Barron, we do play Hart. If they beat us or we beat them, it really, other than bragging rights, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But I still want, and you've seen me probably at more Glasgow games than anything, I always want to see Glasgow do good. I want to see Barron do good, Hart do good.
Yeah.
Because all these kids are in the same community. And there's, like I said, we're all in different classes. Glasgow, Barron, Hart, and Caverna, none of us are in the same class.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't, I don't understand why people, fans from schools don't support those other schools and want to see them succeed.
I had this discussion one time because growing up in Mississippi, I went to Southern Miss. Mm-hmm. All right, so in Mississippi State and Ole Miss, it's like if you're a Mississippi State fan, the best days in the world are when Mississippi State wins and Ole Miss loses. And I've always been of the mindset that, if they're from my community or my state or whatever, I want to see them be successful at the next level. Years ago, I wrote a column about this, about Glasgow and Barron specifically, because they played in the same district in every sport except for football. And I said, in this community, what we should want to strive for and want to see is them playing each other in the championship every year, mm-hmm. at the district and the region level in whatever the sport. And Caverna fits into that as well. If they're on a run, and I think if you look back through history, a lot of times. I remember this story. I think Charles Hunter was telling this story whenever Bunch made their run prior to the consolidation of Bunch and the Glasgow school. Mm-hmm. They made in the early 60s, I think they made 2 runs to the state tournament. And the whole community was packed into that Bunch gym and following them, at that time. And I would like that to be the case these days too, if it worked out.
And I will bring this out. There was kids from Glasgow at the game Saturday.
Yeah.
There were kids from Hart County at the game Saturday. And, that makes my kids feel good, mm-hmm. to see that these local schools are coming to support. And, Friday we didn't play. And I told our kids, I said, go to Hart, watch a game, you know, because those kids are going to support you guys. And to me, it's bigger. Like I always say, it's bigger than just the game of football. It just molds them into be good young men. And, you know, as I've said 1,000 times, you know, a lot of these kids are going to end up in Glasgow, Cave City, Horse Cave, Mumfordville. And once you graduate, guess what? If there's not that many jobs, so you're probably going to work at T. Marzetti or Sister Schubert or some of the factories here with people that you played against in high school, or some people may become bankers, or you're going to have to go borrow money from somebody that, you know, you thought you hated.
Right.
Really, I mean, it is what it is. And you just want to keep a good relationship open with those people. That's just the way I look at it.
Well, real quick, let's talk about some outstanding performances from Friday. For Caverna, obviously Tyson Martin had just a huge night offensively.
And defensively.
And I also thought Jalen Crane defensively had a good night. And then you kind of broke out some new plays with Russell Williams running the ball, and basically Tyson and Kenyon leading blockers on those plays, and obviously they had big blocks and that kind of thing. So, but especially Tyson, I thought just had a huge night running the ball. He he ran through people. In the second half, you could tell Fairview just got tired of trying to tackle your dudes. So,
and you know, LD Wagner probably had the best run.
Yeah, that's
that
photo I have of him. His helmet basically getting.
Yeah, he broke like 8 tackles. And you know, those kids, they're playing hard and they're buying into everything, and hopefully we could build on that momentum.
Yeah. Now, of course, for 2 weeks in a row, basically Tate Spillman has had big nights for Barron County. You know, in the scrimmages, we talked about this. They were blowing the whistle dead. They didn't want him to get hit unnecessarily. They blew the whistle dead if he broke out to a run.
Watched the Hart scrimmage, and there was a couple of times that I thought he could have made somebody miss and had a big gain on some of those quarterback scrambles.
Yeah, and so that's come true in their first 2 games. I mean, he's thrown the ball. He threw the ball much better against Trigg County. Okay. But, I mean, his running the ball has been outstanding, and his ability on the throwing side of things, his ability to kind of break out of the pressure and extend the play and make a pass. I think his touchdown pass to, I can't remember who that was, but I think it was Bird. No, that was Bray Bewley he threw the touchdown to. That was kind of like one of those. He moved a little bit and then threw the ball down the field.
And Trigg wasn't a pushover.
No, the one bad thing for Trigg was their leading receiver was out before the game started.
That's what I was going to say. They've got a kid that I think's major D1 at receiver.
Yeah,
big physical kid that's fast and can catch it. Well, so he didn't play.
No, he was out, and then their starting quarterback got hurt somewhere in the first half, and so they were now. One of the things that happened was they went to a different formation with the guy they put in at quarterback. He had been the running back, and that made Tommy Muse a little nervous because they had worked on all these schemes for stopping the passing attack, and it was working pretty well. But then they were able to run the ball down their throats, and he was like, you know, that's not something we'd drawn up. So that first drive with that guy at quarterback was a bit of a problem. I think he ran the ball 9 consecutive times.
Wow.
But of course, he eventually got knocked out of the game too. But Barron offensively has played well in 2 consecutive games, put up points, something they had been struggling doing the last couple of seasons, I think. So that was good. And defense has probably played better than Coach Muse expected because he had so many replacements up front.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, Easton Jesse, also at quarterback for Glasgow. He's, you know, one of the questions you had leading into the season, how is he going to play this year? And he's played pretty well. I mean, they've looked good there. Defense also has played well for the Scotties. So, I mean, it's a good kind of all-around start for him. I was going to say that if you look at Glasgow's stats, on defense especially, you're like, well, not many people have made many plays because they've played JV in the fourth quarter of the first game and the whole second half of the second game. But, you know, Mason Arms has probably played pretty well at that middle linebacker spot like they expected him to.
And, you know, that's an unfortunate thing that Glasgow has, and Barron, that I'm just not blessed with. You know, we subbed a lot Saturday. A lot. Every kid on our team played. But I still had to leave starters because we just don't have that many kids. You know, I couldn't pull all 11 and put 11 back out there. But I'm glad to see that both Glasgow and Barron have started off strong. And I haven't seen Gavin Neal. I haven't gotten to watch him play. So hopefully on our bye week, I can go watch Gavin. Gavin is related to me. And I know he's a hard worker. He took a blow last year and didn't get to finish out with the injury. And, I see all those kids and talk to all those kids. And I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised with Glasgow. And like you and I talked before, I think that district is going to come down to Hart and Glasgow.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins that game wins the district.
I'm curious to see Franklin Simpson. The last couple of years they've not been where they had been historically. But I'm curious to see how they shape up as the season goes along. Mostly because I don't think you can ever rule them out of being a threat.
Right.
Just because they always have talent.
Right.
And, basically, though the last couple of years, they've not been able to throw the ball very well. And they've been playing pretty young with the new coach taking over. It was kind of a bunch of young guys. And so I'm curious to see how they shape up as it goes along. But, yeah, Hearts look really good so far, as expected.
I actually watched them after work. I watched their game live at the house. I still don't think they played well.
Yeah.
I really don't. Clark Rexroth had a big game. And, he was the spiritual leader, to say that, he was trying to get the guys fired up. But, there are some guys on that team that can play that I don't think have really had that game yet. And I know Jordan Bradley is just now getting back. He had surgery on his knee in the off season. But when you get Jordan Bradley, Clark, Anthony Lawless, Hunter Monroe, and they've got I call him Colorado. He moved here from Colorado, so that's the kid's nickname, Collie. He had a big interception. They've just got so many different weapons. And those kids are very strong. And that's, I think that's why they have a little bit of an edge over everybody that they play. Their whole team is strong.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. When you put that equipment on and you are physically ready to play, it makes a difference.
Well, that'll be an interesting district. Your district's pretty interesting too, because we don't know anything about Ballard Memorial or Fulton County for a while.
They've played Tennessee schools. They both lost both games. It's hard to get a gauge from that. I know Russellville is young. And, they're sophomore heavy just like we are.
Yeah.
And, I know kids develop different. But that sophomore class, we did play them as 8th graders. And we had a lot of success against them, but again, it's Russellville, and we go down there to play. That's a very traditional stadium to play in. I know Glasgow people will say, well, we didn't have any trouble, but you're Glasgow. You got 45 kids on the sideline. I don't have 45 kids on the sideline. But I just think our team speed will really hurt people in our district.
Yeah.
As long as we can stay healthy. That's the thing that worries me the most is staying healthy. I've already lost one kid, Connor Mudd. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. And one or two more blows like that, they can change our whole season.
Yeah. You certainly have 4 kids that you can't afford to lose at all.
Can't lose them.
And then you really can't afford to lose any linemen because you just don't have a bunch of them.
It's like I've got one lineman. He's upset because I didn't let him come to practice. He had his wisdom teeth cut out.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, it's still going to be 90 degrees outside. You don't need to come to practice. And he's like, Coach, we have a game Friday. But that impresses me because they still want to come. He said, I don't have to practice, but I want to come.
Yeah.
And he said, we got a game. But again, I'm not a dentist, but I do know that if you get your wisdom teeth cut out, you don't need to be standing out in the hot sun. So
yeah, it might need a day or two.
May need a day or two. And I told him, I'm not going to penalize you because you got your wisdom teeth cut out. But we picked up another. Did you see our big fella, Hairston? The first 400-pounder Caverna's ever had, ever. And practice yesterday. We'll take a break after this. Practice yesterday. really trying to teach him how to move his feet, which is a little difficult for him. You know, I was telling him, you're so much stronger. You just need to make a half a step and put your hands on somebody. And, you know, he did it 3 or 4 times. And we come back to the huddle to get a play, and he's got tears in his eyes. Why are you? What's wrong? He's like, I just can't block. And I told him, I said, but you want to learn. And as long as a kid wants to learn, we have to coach him. Yeah. But maybe we can get him moving his feet a little bit. And I mean, they'll definitely have to have somebody very fast to get around him. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, James will allow us to talk about something else.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
Trevent. Hi, this is James Brown. Welcome back to Tell Me About It here on Glasgow EPB Channel 6 local channel. You can catch this show Thursday nights at 6 p.m. You can catch it on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel, kysports.tv, 104thescore.com. Then, you know, we talked about some high school football in the prior section. This time we're going to talk some college football. Trevent's trying to figure out how to get out of coaching his game on Friday night so he can go to Atlanta. And
do you think Dion will let me use his jet?
Dion.
Prime time. You think he'd send it down just to let me get?
Dion's concerned about whether or not he's going to get whooped on Saturday. So no, he ain't worried about letting you
lose. They're not going to lose.
Who are they playing again?
It don't matter.
I mean, hey, one thing of note, though, Jackson State on their opener last Saturday beat South Carolina State, the team that beat Dion twice, 38-6. Okay, keep talking.
We'll see Saturday.
Look, I think they'll do well. To be honest with you, I'm making fun.
I know,
but
that's because that's what you do.
Well, it is.
And people that don't know you don't really know that.
I mean, you know, I just do my job. I just do my job with my friends. You know, we can talk.
Back, yeah.
So what do you think about this Louisville football team?
I think Jake Plummer will come out Friday night and absolutely impress the college football world. Is he already being called Jake the Snake? Not yet.
Do you have to like slither into some situation to get that?
Well, first of all, let's make a correction. You have to be a Louisville fan to be able to throw the nicknames to them, okay? Let's clear that out.
Hey, man,
James.
I write people's nicknames into my stories. I can make up nicknames.
Jake the Snake Plummer. You know, no, Jake the Snake just died within the last year, I think. Yeah. So we don't want to call him Jake the Snake. And he's got, you know, Amari Bruce is back. The receiver core is still very young. I think we have 2 juniors. Mm-hmm. And I will say we when we refer to college football with Louisville because I feel like I'm a part of that team.
Oh, my God.
very young,
I love it when people who are fans are fans to the point like they believe they're in the locker room, they're eating with the dudes. They're like.
Now, I will say this. Now, I'm not an ordinary fan because I have had the chance to go to practice. I've had a chance to go in the stadium and eat lunch with the guys. And being with KY Sports TV, I've been on the sidelines. I go to the pressers. So, they just may not be as I may not be as close to them as they're as close to me. You know what I'm saying? They may not just know that we're just as cool as we are. They just may.
Here's what folks don't know. You got cutouts. You got a cutout of Brom probably with his own bedroom at your house.
No, I'm not weird. I'm not weird. Okay. And you've been to my house.
Yeah, I know.
We just there is a lot of I do have a lot of Louisville things.
Yeah. I'm really just kind of pointing the fact out that how excited Louisville fans are that Brom is finally
very
coach.
Excited. Very excited.
I mean, I'm not saying it's excessive.
I was mad at him when we offered him the first time and he turned it down.
Well, I mean,
I understand, but as a fan, we wanted that, and we felt we really needed that.
Oh yeah.
And it's the same with Kenny Payne with basketball. Regardless of how terrible our season was last year, I'm not that fan. Fire Kenny Payne.
Yeah.
It's a process. I mean, everything has to. Now, if he don't win the next couple of years, hey, may need to look at doing something else.
You're throwing that cutout out in the backyard, huh?
I don't have cutouts out. You're going to make people think that I'm weird, James.
No, I don't think you're weird.
No, I said you're going to make other people think that I'm weird.
No. I think
like Ray Finkel, people probably think I have cutouts, and when we lose or do something bad, I throw darts at them or poke something in their eye.
You should, though. Every fan should have that.
No, I don't.
It's not you specific.
I know.
It's just fans themselves.
And fans get so worked up. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And what amazes me is the Louisville-Kentucky rivalry. I mean, it's a rivalry, but it's amazing how some Louisville fans live rent-free in Kentucky fans' heads, and vice versa. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
I could care less what if on a Saturday, I don't check the score and say, yes, Kentucky lost. I don't do that.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about in the prior segment.
Right. I don't do that. I mean, now Aaron and I will watch that game together, and I hope you come to watch the game with us, the Louisville-Kentucky game, because that's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't forgotten Aaron. But Aaron is definitely a Cat fan.
Can I come and we just record the whole thing?
Absolutely.
And then I sit between you guys so that I can make fun of both of you the whole time.
Yes.
That sounds great. I'm
in. Yes. But back to, I think Louisville will win Friday.
Yeah.
I think Jake Plummer will come out and have a great game. He'll have a huge game passing. The last couple of years, we've really not had that excitement knowing that we're going to get the ball down the field, and we know that's what Brom does. So I'm excited to look at some of his offensive schemes and how he's going to use some of these guys. Traditionally he has a small slot receiver. I would have loved to have seen Tutu Atwell play for Brom. But I think we come out on top. Does Kentucky open up Saturday?
They do.
Who do they play?
Somebody they should beat.
Ball State.
That's it.
Vol State? Vol State?
No, not the junior college.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm poking at Aaron.
So, but that does bring up a point that I made on my show on Monday. Like, one of the things that irritates me about college football, especially on this opening weekend, is how many of the top 25 programs are playing teams that are just patsies. And it happens in college basketball too, but usually that opening week of college basketball, you get the Big 10, Big 12, or Big 10 SEC tournament, whatever it is. You get some top 25 teams playing each other in the opening week, and it builds some excitement.
Right.
College football, it's just a bunch of bad games a lot of times in the first week.
I think there's usually about 5 good games the opening weekend.
Yeah.
I guess from being on the outside looking in, if I'm a coach at Ball State, sure, I'll take that $1.6 million to come and let Kentucky beat me.
Well, of course.
And because they thought that with WKU as well.
Well, I mean,
And,
that's why
hey,
WKU's not. Some people won't open with them anymore.
Exactly. And so we won't see. I think. Is it next year that Western opens with somebody huge, somebody crazy? Alabama, Ohio State. Well, this year they play Ohio State. Think of the payday WKU is going to get, and not only the payday, but that's another nationally televised game.
Yeah.
And Western has a guy that I didn't know they are promoting a guy to win the Heisman. Didn't know that.
Yeah. So I see it from the perspective of the lower rated program.
Mm-hmm.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
But for me, not being a fan of a specific program, even though, I'm rooting for WKU because, of course, they're right here, and Dalvin Smith plays there, and Aiden Miller plays there. So, yeah, I'm going to root for them. But just in a general fan of the sport situation.
Why does it happen?
Yeah, it's not very interesting to me.
And speaking on Dalvin, I was at the barber shop last week, and one of his coaches were getting a haircut. Mm-hmm. And we were just talking, and one of the guys that was also in the barber shop asked if he thought Dalvin would get a chance in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And he said that, there's already people, contacting and making interest because of his size and speed. And I think that would, if he gets the chance, that would be so special because that kid has endured so many injuries. Yeah. But he's never given up.
Right.
And I was telling his coach, I said, when he was in high school, he tore his ACL. And we at KY Sports TV, we had the showcase at Barron. And I said, this kid, I call it the Sean Elliott knee brace, the big one that goes all the way down. I said, he was just a couple of months out of surgery. And he called and said he wanted to be in the dunk contest. And I was like, oh, okay. This kid had a knee brace on and jumped over like two people. Mm-hmm. I mean, he may be the best athlete that I've seen from in this area in a very long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they don't make many like him.
No.
And I thought last year that bowl game was an outstanding situation for him because they allowed him, they drew up plays that allowed him to demonstrate all of his skill set. I mean, it was just a huge game for him. And it kind of made you realize, a lot of times local players might be at WKU and that kind of stuff. And depending on the coaching staff and all that changes in coaching staff, you're like, well, they're just not getting an opportunity for us to really see what they're capable of. And Tyson Hilton and his coaching staff with different offensive coordinators and that kind of thing, obviously to Coach Hilton, something about Dalvin really appeals to him.
And not only Dalvin being a local kid, I mean, Campbellsville's just right up the road. Malachi Corley, they're the top two receivers at WKU right now.
Yeah.
And I think Malachi Corley had a great season last year. And I expect...
He's on a bunch of preseason watch lists.
And when you've got receivers of that caliber, if your quarterback can throw it any at all, Western's going to throw it. Mm-hmm. Their quarterback's going to put up huge numbers. So I see why they're, promoting this guy to win the Heisman.
Yeah. I think it'll be an exciting season.
How big would it be for WKU to have a Heisman Trophy winner?
It would have been about the same level as Alcorn State getting one, but he got narrowed out, Steve McNair. That's the problem is...
Do you think he deserved it that year?
Who, Steve McNair?
Yes.
He was the best football player in the country, even if he was at Alcorn State.
Yep.
I mean, he got to the NFL and proved you don't make many people like that.
Right.
And just because he was at Alcorn State, because he went to tiny Mount Olive High School in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi, I mean, he was a special dude. The problem is they often just get pushed out because of basically what we were just talking about. In the end, the SEC schools will end up playing each other, and the Big Ten schools will end up playing each other. And you get all that press time, highlight reels, and all that in big-time games, and that just influences the voters. And it's hard to overcome that level of publicity, especially on big stages.
Right.
And so you can put up 5,000, 6,000 yards like the dude at Hawaii did or whatever, and was he the best quarterback in the country? I don't know. But when you
He had
start
the best numbers.
He had the best numbers. I mean, they were. I mean, some of them are still in the record books at this point. So you do. Also, you have, I think, what I would call the Andre Ware effect, where a system elevates a guy's numbers, but when you get right down to the brass tacks, they're completing right at 50% of their passes. They just happen to be able to get them to a dude who takes it to the house. So that's kind of the thing. You just don't know how those things all work out. But that publicity at that highest level really helps those dudes when it comes to winning the Heisman.
So locally, we'll close with this if it's okay. Locally, some kids to look for this weekend. You have Anthony Atkins from LaRue County that's now at UCLA.
Yeah.
You have the Dingle brothers he was at Army. I'm sorry. Anthony Atkins from LaRue is now at UCLA. You have the Dingle brothers from Bowling Green that's at UK. You have DeVito Tisdale that's at Colorado.
Yeah.
Of course, Malachi, Dalvin, and Aiton Miller are at WKU.
Yeah.
Christian Conyers from South Warren is at the University of Tennessee. Where did Jacob Lacey is he at UK as well?
I don't know.
I know he left Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I want to say he's at UK, but I'm not sure. If there's anybody I'm missing, I'm sorry. But those are just some of the local names that we can look forward to. I don't know if Kieran Stockton if he's going to redshirt this year or if he's playing. But we also have some local kids that are at Lindsey Wilson, Campbellsville,
yeah.
Georgetown. I know Murphy is at
Campbellsville. John Carter Myers is
at Georgetown.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to see how these kids, and that's what I do on Sunday mornings. I try to go and read and see how all the kids that are from this area or around us did. But we thank you guys for tuning in another week. You're busy this weekend too, I'm sure.
Yeah. We got football games, 3 on Friday night, some soccer on Saturday, a bunch of volleyball and soccer and whatnot. Got a lot going on.
All right. Well, Trevent Hayes again, KY Sports TV.
James Brown, 104 The Score. We're on Tell Me About It, Glasgow EPB Channel 6, local channel.
The local channel.
And we'll be back next week.
All right.